Welcome to another episode of the For the Love of Cricket podcast with Jim and Akim. Today we'll be discussing the preview between India and New Zealand, two unbeaten teams in this year's World Cup. What's your take on tomorrow's encounter?
It should be a very good game. As you said, the two teams are unbeaten. To keep that going, you'd hope for a bit of rain for a washout. That being said, it makes a good watching. Two teams that are very balanced. You look at the Indian team, they're at home, they've been playing good cricket. They seem to be ticking all the boxes. The only hiccup they've had so far is Hardik Pandya getting injured. You look at New Zealand, they've also been playing very well as well. Their captain is a bit of an injured out. We might see him tomorrow, but they are still a very good team, very hard-working team, and a very efficient team. So it makes a good game, exciting game.
I think Kane would be looking to play tomorrow's game, but he has another injury issue with his thumb, and I see it heavily bandaged. It looks to be in a cast. So I think he's highly doubtful to play, and that is in addition to his knee injury that he's carrying. With India, Hardik Pandya's ankle was damaged in the last game, and it might be a tricky selection because you're basically replacing two players to replace Hardik Pandya. I think Ishan Kishan would come in to replace Pandya. What's your thoughts?
I am thinking that Thakur stays in the team, and it's probably Shami.
That's a good call as well. The batting has been doing well, so they might be looking to bolster the bowling attack. But Shami has been horrible in the power plays. He's one of the worst bowlers going around in the power plays right now. So that might be something for them to think about. Any other thoughts on New Zealand's strategy going into the game?
New Zealand comes into this game with nothing to lose. I feel that India will be under pressure all tournament, playing at home. They're going to have sellout crowds all the time, and a billion people really breathing down the necks. So New Zealand comes into this game with nothing really to lose. They can just go out and express themselves. I'm hoping that Kane Williamson plays because it will be a good game for him to, show his class and lead this team. You feel like they're slightly inexperienced in some places. You look at the likes of probably Ravindra, who is a bit inexperienced. Daryl Mitchell has been around for a while, but I'm not sure if he has played 50 ODIs as yet. It's a big tournament, a big game in Indian conditions, and Kane Williamson is one of the best batsmen in the world. So I think just his fitness and his availability is a key factor for this game for New Zealand.
An interesting point for me in this game will be two of the best new ball bowlers going around right now, and the New Zealand team going up against one of the best openers in world cricket.
Yes.
Matt Henry and Trent Bolt against Hitman Rohit Sharma.
And Virat Kohli at 3 as well.
Virat Kohli at 3. It should be a very interesting encounter. As we've said before in this competition so far, the new ball is key. What you do in the first 20 overs of the game has so much to do with setting up how the result will be towards the end. What's your thoughts on the Indian bowling attack, especially with Siraj not looking as good as he was previous to Bumrah returning?
The bowling attack, it will be interesting. Bumrah has found form. He has arrived at this World Cup. He is performing consistently for India, so that's a major box tick for them. Siraj was the #1 ODI bowler in the world coming into this tournament. He's no longer #1, he's #2, I believe. His form hasn't been great in this World Cup thus far, and it will be very important to see how he starts and how he goes against a New Zealand team that I expect to make the semi-finals. This New Zealand team, they're possible contenders for this World Cup, so this is a big game for Team India. You look at the other bowlers, you look at Ravindra Jadeja, he has been brilliant throughout this tournament. Kuldeep Yadav has also been very good. He will have a number of left-handers to bowl to in this game, so his matchup and his performance could be important. Interesting areas for India. Hardik Pandya is out of the game. He is generally the third seamer. He's somebody that can bowl 85 miles per hour and up if needed. He has good variety, bowls well with the semi-new ball in the middle overs and sometimes at the death. He's out of this game. How he is replaced will be important. And Shardul Thakur, he is the key man for India and he is the man that New Zealand may look to target. When you look at the bowling lineup, you think that he is probably the weakest bowler. He looked to bowl middle overs a bit towards the end and maybe at the end of the power play. So it's interesting to see how he will go because he's had an okay tournament thus far, but generally he's the most expensive bowler for India.
I mentioned earlier that they might be bringing in, well, we mentioned that they might be bringing in Kishan to replace Pandya, and Akim mentioned Shami. But thinking about it deeper, how many left-handers does New Zealand have?
They have a number of them because you look and you see Devon Conway,
Ravindra,
you see Ravindra,
Latham,
you see Latham,
Santner,
you see Santner, and Chapman is probably left-handed.
Yeah, with the number of left-handers that New Zealand has, Ravichandran Ashwin has only played one game so far in this World Cup and he has done pretty well. It might be a good choice to bring him in instead of the extra batter or Mohamed Shami. What's your thoughts?
I think it's also an option. Somebody of the caliber of Ravichandran Ashwin, it's hard to even neglect him and forget about him. He is a world-class bowler, world-class performer, very good to left-handers, deadly against left-handers, and they're in Indian conditions. If you play him, you could possibly go with 3 spinners, and then you go with Thakur, Bumrah, and Siraj, and that's decent balance in my estimation.
That's a pretty, 6 bowlers?
Yeah.
I don't think you need much more than that. India's batting lineup so far has been firing. New Zealand's top order has been firing. Glenn Phillips came well in the last game. Mitchell Santner has been having a good tournament and he might be very key in this game with both bat and ball, especially with those right-handers that India has.
It will be a very good test for Mitchell Santner in this game. The Indians are generally the best players of spin in this world. I rate Mitchell Santner highly as a left-arm spinner. I think he's very good, he's crafty, he has very good control, he's a smart bowler, but he'll be bowling against some very good players of spin. You look at the likes of Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill also cannot be ignored. Virat Kohli, of course, goes without mentioning. KL Rahul, good player spin as well. Shreyas Iyer, fairly good player spin as well. He's better to spin than seam. So it will be a very good test for Mitchell Santner. His overs could be key in deciding the total that India gets to. So it will be very, very, very important to see how he goes, and he could be the difference maker in this game.
To add to that, New Zealand has a number of left-arm options in their backup. They have Ravindra, who has been bowling quite a number of overs in this tournament, and Mark Chapman, who has yet to bowl. He could come in case of Santner getting some tap or Ravindra struggling. Additionally, they have the overs of Glenn Phillips as well as Daryl Mitchell. So New Zealand basically is going into the game with 6 or 7 bowlers.
What do you think about Ish Sodhi? Do you think there's a possibility that he plays in this game?
Indians don't really struggle to leg spinners though.
That's true.
So bringing in Ish Sodhi, it would be basically an unforced change. The only change I think they'll be looking to make is trying to get the captain back in. And with his injury concern, with the finger, the knee, I think he can manage the knee, but with the finger, he'll be having some issues batting with that.
Yeah.
Any other points you'd like to make?
No other points. I think the game will make for good viewing. The 2 informed teams in the tournament, the 2 teams that have been playing the best thus far. Who do you back to win it?
Winner. I'd say India. They're at home. I think it would be easier for them to pick a settled or a balanced lineup than New Zealand. As I said before, they're at home conditions, they know how to use the conditions, and I think I give India the edge, as I said.
I agree. We haven't been in good form in this competition in terms of choosing winners. So it's interesting it's interesting that we're both going with the same team. That being said, I like the look of India. I think they're the most balanced team in this tournament thus far. They tick all the boxes. They have the star players performing. They're playing at home. I think it all bodes well for them, and I expect them to win the game tomorrow.
Alright, that's the end of today's episode. Thanks very much for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys.